Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to my channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing good. Today's video is going to be about the house of Maison Alhambra. I have a total of 10 fragrances from the house of Maison Alhambra in my collection, and in this video I'm going to show you all 10 of those fragrances and I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my most favorite. I'll start with a short introduction to what Maison Alhambra is. For those who don't know, you probably already know if you're watching this video, but still. The brand of Maison Alhambra is a sub-brand of lattafa, which sole purpose of being created is to actually make clone fragrances. Every fragrance that comes out from the house of Maison Alhambra is actually a clone of a famous designer or niche scent. And now let's start the actual list. In 10th last position, or in other words my least favorite scent from Maison Alhambra in my collection, is called Baroque Rouge Extrait. This is a clone of BR540 Extrait, and unfortunately I don't think that Maison Alhambra have done a great job with this fragrance. It's not very that close to the original scent. It lacks some of that sharpness, some of that spiciness. It lacks also a bit on the longevity side as well. And unfortunately also one thing that I really don't like about this particular bottle is the fact that my bottle has had a very leaky atomizer ever since I started using it. So for all of those reasons, my least favorite fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra in my collection is Baroque Rouge Extrait. In 9th position sits Maison Alhambra Yeah. This is a clone of YSL EDP. It's actually not a bad fragrance, scent-wise it's quite close to the original scent. Not the best clone of YSL in my collection, but still one of the better options if you're looking for an EDP clone. But the reason why this is ranked so low is simply basically because I don't enjoy that much the original fragrance, and I also don't enjoy that much the clone from Maison Alhambra. Other than that, this is very cheap, has decent performance, and as I said, it's quite decent when it comes to how close it actually is to the original. So if you're looking for a decent clone of YEDP, you can take a look at Maison Alhambra Yeah. This fragrance is in 9th position. Now ranking my two least favorite fragrances from Maison Alhambra was quite easy, but from now on it was really tough for me to actually rank all the rest of the 8 fragrances that I'm going to show you. At number 8 is going to be Jorge di Profumo. This of course is a clone of Acqua di Profumo, and it's a very decent clone. I cannot lie that I actually like a lot the original scent, and I like the interpretation, the clone that Maison Alhambra have done here. This will get you pretty close to the original scent, but for some reason lately I've not been enjoying that much wearing freshy type of fragrances. I've been enjoying more sweet, dark, leathery type of scents, and that's why Jorge di Profumo is ranked so low. But I think this is a pretty good alternative to Acqua di Profumo if you're looking for such a thing, and this also is super cheap. So if you're looking for such a fragrance, definitely check out Jorge di Profumo. It's ranked at number 8 in this video. At number 7 I have Vicrioso Victory. Now when it comes to closeness to the original scent, this is one of the best clones that I have ever tried, and I'm not kidding. This thing is super close to the original scent, and with this one Maison Alhambra have done an outstanding job copying the original scent. And the only reason why this thing is ranked so low in this video is simply because I'm not the biggest fan of the original scent. But as I said, I cannot deny the fact that Maison Alhambra have done a fantastic job with this fragrance. Price tag, the best thing out of all is the price tag of this thing is super low, it's super affordable. And the other best thing is that this fragrance actually performs pretty much the same way as the original. So if you're looking for a super fantastic clone of Paco Rabanne's Invictus Victory. Definitely check out Vicrioso Victory from Maison Alhambra. It's in 7th place in this video. In 6th place I have Tabac. This fragrance is a clone of one of Dior's privé fragrances called Tabacolor. And scent-wise, this is decently close to the original. It's not very close. It lacks a bit of the fruity sweetness that you get in the opening. It lacks some of the added sweetness on the dry down. This thing feels like a little bit like it has the emphasis a little bit more on the tobacco note and the plum note compared to the original scent. But also this has very strong performance, strong projection. It's a nice cold weather scent, and I'm a big time lover of tobacco based scents, but for some reason I'm still not feeling like 100% on this one. I'm still trying to like it more than I actually do at the moment. That's why this is in 6th position. So in 6th position I have Tabac from Maison Alhambra. In 5th position is going to be Maison Alhambra the Tux. Now this fragrance got a tremendous amount of hype earlier this year, at the end of last year and starting this year. And this is a clone of YSL Tuxedo, and it's a pretty nice clone of Tuxedo. The opening, it lacks a bit of the closeness to the original scent in the opening. It's slightly different, but the dry down is almost identical to the original scent. But there's one big problem with this fragrance, and that's the fact, as I said, that it got so much hype that it was almost constantly out of stock, and also prices were very high for what this actually is. I've seen prices on this fragrance over the $100 mark, which I think is absolutely nuts, considering that when this was actually launched, it was the price tag was somewhere around about the $20 to $25. I think that's the only problem with this fragrance, but other than that, this is a very nice clone of YSL Tuxedo. So if you're looking for such a thing, clone of Tuxedo, and you can find the Tux for a good price, definitely check this one out. At number 4 I have Maison Alhambra Hercules. This thing is a clone of Parfum de Marly's Herod. Scent wise, it's a very decent clone. And I'm a big time lover of the original scent, the original fragrance from Parfum de Marly's. But for some reason, this thing has, it's always lacked something. It lacks a bit of performance, at least on my skin. It doesn't perform. Some people have been reporting great performance out of this fragrance. Some people actually say that this outperforms the original. That's never been the case with me for some reason, and that's the only reason why it's ranked in 4th position, not higher. Other than that, scent-wise, as I said, it's a very decent clone of Herod. Got that sweet tobacco note in this fragrance, sweet tobacco mix, and I'm a big time lover of that scent DNA. But as I said, maybe because of the lack of performance, this thing is not ranked up higher. So it's in 4th position. At number 3, I have Kismet Angel. This is another fragrance that got a monstrous amount of hype, earlier this year. And again, another fragrance that people was at some point reselling for crazy high prices. This is also sometimes pretty hard to get. It's always out of stock, and that's why people are speculating with the price tag, and they're trying to sell bottles of this for over $100, which again I think is absolutely nuts, considering again that this was launched at a price of somewhere around about the $25 to $30 mark. Other than that, this is a very decent clone of Kilian's Angel Share, and in fact from all of the clones that I've tried so far, this is probably one of those that got the closest in the opening to Angel Share. It has a very beautiful boozy note, and Maison Alhambra have done a great job replicating the opening of Angel Share. The dry down is not super similar, but still you got that nice boozy sweet scent profile out of Kismet Angel. Also, this lacks a bit of performance, is not as good of a performer as I would like it to be, but I love actually the original scent DNA, and that's why Kismet Angel is ranked in 3rd position. Now, before I show you the fragrances that came in 1st and 2nd position, I just wanted to share something with you. If you have asked me, let's say 6 months ago, whether I will ever do a video ranking fragrances, and I'll have the fragrances in 1st and 2nd position that have strong rose, leather and oud notes in them, I would have never believed that I could do such thing. When I started collecting fragrances, I didn't really like that much leather-based fragrances, and I almost couldn't stand rose-based fragrances. But as time passed and I tried more and more fragrances, it seems that my taste has actually changed quite a bit. So with that out of the way, the fragrance in 2nd position is called Baroque Satin Oud. This is a fantastic clone of MFK's Oud Satin Mood. Really close to the original scent, almost identical scent-wise. You get that strong, sweet, jammy rose, you get some oud, and you also get some added sweetness from an amber note. Very close to the original scent, and this fragrance has a monstrous projection. Longevity wise, it's not a beast mode performer on my skin. It still lasts a good 8 to 9 hours, maybe pushing the 10-hour mark, but when it comes to projection, this is probably one of the, maybe in the top 3 or top 5 of the strongest projecting fragrances in my collection. Also the other nice thing is that this one is very cheap, and it's also perfectly unisex. And in 1st place, or in other words, the Maison Alhambra fragrance that I'm enjoying the most at my current time, my current favorite from the house of Maison Alhambra, is called Jean Lowe Ombre. This, of course, when you look at the bottle, you immediately recognize that this is a clone of Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade, and it's a pretty decent clone. Now, grant you, this is not the best clone of Ombre Nomade in my collection. I have another fragrance that's closer to the original, in fact almost identical to the original scent, but this one is still very close to the original. It's quite cheap, and will get you decently close to the original scent. You got the same players, you got a strong leather note, you got oud, you got rose, you got raspberry, some amber sweetness on the dry down. Very nice fragrance. And as I said with the previous one, Oud Satin Mood or Baroque Satin Oud, if somebody told me that I will rank a fragrance with rose, leather and oud as the main notes in it in number 1 at whatever kind of video, I would have never believed that. But at the current time, my favorite fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra is called Jean Lowe Ombre. So guys, in today's video I showed you all 10 Maison Alhambra fragrances that I currently have in my collection, and I ranked them from my least favorite to my most favorite. I hope that you found this video interesting or entertaining. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that I'm going to see you in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.